In the early 1980s, the world was in the grip of a video game boom. The electronic beeps and boops of arcades echoed in dimly lit halls. Children were obsessed with colorful, fun games like Pac-Man and Donkey Kong. But what if, among them, there was one game with completely different purpose? This is the story of a mysterious arcade game that eroded the minds of its players, gave them nightmares, stole their memories, and then vanished without a trace. This is the story of Polybius. The story is set in a suburb of Portland, Oregon in 1981. It's said that a strange arcade game was installed in several arcades at the time. The cabinet was jet black. It had no manufacturer's logo, no flashy artwork, just the word Polybius written in a simple font in the center. Its unusual appearance set it apart from the popular games of the era. However, the curiosity of the children was immediately drawn to this mysterious game, and once they played it, they became hooked, as if possessed by something. So, what kind of game was Polybius? According to what are claimed to be testimonies from surviving players, its content was highly abstract. It's said to have been similar to a vector graphics shooter, much like the modern game Tempest. However, the screen flashed with abnormal intensity, and the background spun dizzyingly, the psychedelic visuals which seemed designed to make the player lose. Their sense of direction continued endlessly. The strange part was its addictiveness. Despite not being a fun game in the traditional sense, players formed long lines, feeding coin after coin into the machine. But the price they paid was far too high. Strange side effects began to appear in the children who played Polybius. Dizziness, nausea, headaches, and more serious were the effects on their minds. Many players began to suffer from nightmares. Night after night, they were tormented by terrifying visions, similar to the game and auditory hallucinations of meaningless sounds. Some reportedly experienced temporary amnesia, forgetting even their own names or the way home. There were even reports of children developing an aversion to gaming and never playing another video game again, or falling into a state of depression. This game was not mere entertainment. It was a dangerous device that destroyed the player's mind from the inside out. The mysteries surrounding Polybius don't end there. The most unsettling part is the existence of the Men in Black. According to player testimonies, men in black suits would occasionally appear in the arcades, ignoring all other games and walking straight to the Polybius cabinets. They didn't play the games. They would open up the back of the cabinet, seemingly collecting data, and then leave without exchanging a word with anyone. From these eyewitness accounts, a terrifying hypothesis was born. Could it be that Polybius wasn't a product made by a simple game company, but an illegal psychological experiment conducted by the U.S. government on its own citizens? Using intense flashing lights and subliminal effects, they could study how the human mind is affected. Could specific information be imprinted onto the brain? They were collecting data for this purpose from unsuspecting children. At the time, America was in the midst of the Cold War. Rumors of the government secretly conducting mind control. Research, typified by projects like MKUltra, were rampant. Perhaps Polybius was a giant experimental device staged in the arcades. And then, just 1 month after its installation, as if enough data had been collected, the Polybius cabinets suddenly vanished from all the arcades, as if they had never existed in the first place. A government conspiracy, a mind-altering game, and men in black. This story seems almost too perfect. So, did Polybius really exist? To put it simply, to this day, not a single piece of objective evidence has been found to prove that a game called Polybius existed in Portland in 1981. There are no photos, no cabinet remnants, no contemporary newspaper articles, zero official records. So, where did this legend come from? Its origins trace back to the year 2000. It's believed to have started when a person calling himself Stephen Roach posted about Polybius on an overseas arcade game information website. He claimed Polybius was real and shared its eerie details. This post spread across the internet, firing the imagination of many and evolving with embellishments into its current form. In other words, it is highly likely that Polybius is not a legend, born in the 80s, but a modern urban legend born on the internet in the 2000s. This legend skillfully weaves in elements of real events. For example, the early arcade game Tempest did in fact cause photosensitive seizures, and there were incidents of players feeling unwell. There is also the fact that the FBI did monitor arcades to investigate illegally, modified cabinets used for gambling. It's likely that these fragmented facts were connected by the amplifying power of the internet, creating the perfect urban legend of Polybius. Incidentally, the name Polybius comes from an ancient Greek historian. His creed was to record events exactly as they happened. For a legend whose truth is unknown, this is an incredibly ironic name. There is no proof of its existence. Nevertheless, the story of Polybius continues to fascinate many people even today. Why is that? Perhaps it's because this story strikes a chord with the vague fears that lie deep within our hearts. The fear of unknown technology, the suspicion that we might be controlled by unseen forces, the distrust of a huge entity like the government. Polybius is not just a scary story about a game. It is a story that acts like a mirror, reflecting the anxieties of modern society. Even today, somewhere in the world, someone is telling this legend, adding a new interpretation. And that is how urban legends stay alive. Perhaps even in the arcade in your town. Thank you for watching. If you found this video interesting, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up. If you know of any other urban legends about games, please let me know in the comments. I'll see you in the next video.